how was practice today? How did you feel? More importantly, where's your wind at, and how does the ankle feel for you?
Practice was good. I got out there, competed. It's definitely, you could tell it's been the first time in, what has it been, 4 or 5 weeks, but that's to be expected. Just trying to find ways to get back in the groove, get back in, full shape. I feel like I'm getting there. And things are progressing well. Can't complain. And the guys, we all look good and determined and ready to go. So can't complain.
All right, next up, Eric Walden, Salt Lake Tribune.
Hey, Don, can you kind of take us through the recovery process, kind of, when you first started feeling like you were on a path to maybe getting back to returning to action again?
Yeah, it definitely was a tough process. Just for me, I haven't been out this long since my 10th grade year in high school. So it's definitely you kind of, it's a mental game as much as a physical one too. And I would say, things started progressing well. To be honest with you, I've lost track of days. And honestly, I barely know what today is. But I feel like, kind of been progressing well for like the past 2 weeks, I want to say. I mean, you're going to quote me on that, but I could be wrong. But I feel like that's, things started to go in the right way and projecting well. And, as a whole, I think just continuing to take my time and continue to go about the right way, I think is the biggest thing. An injury wasn't something to play with. Wasn't as minor as it was, made out to be. I'll leave it at that. But, I definitely had some hurdles to climb, and I think we did a good job in just continuing to progress.
All right, Sarah Todd, Deseret News.
Donovan, are you expecting that you'll be ready to go for game 1?
That's the goal. Barring any setbacks, God forbid, knock on wood, but that's the goal. And just trying to go out there and just be there for my teammates and try and help to go out there and win the championship. I think that's the goal. It's been the goal all year. And, but, God forbid anything happens. I think that's the goal for me. That's the goal for everybody here, and to be ready for game 1.
Ryan Miller, KSL.
Donovan, you mentioned that you haven't been out for a while since your 10th grade year. What did you learn kind of just having to sit out and watch?
There's a lot of things. I think being able to see where, obviously we saw Boyan, step up huge from me and Mike were out. George was a big piece, Trent, and being able to kind of sit on the sidelines and kind of coach in a sense allows you to also teach yourself, because you're kind of staying engaged, staying in the flow. And I think we saw a lot of guys stepping up, similar to the bubble, when guys kind of stepped up into different roles. You saw the same thing, when myself and Mike were out. And I think that'll hopefully carry over into the playoffs. I think it will, guys stepping up into their roles, having much more confidence, in certain areas, different areas of every person's game. And I think, we're a team that can compete with anybody, if not be anybody in the league. And we're going to go out there and try and prove that every night. And just play the way we've been playing, and my goal is to come back and just continue to go out there and do what I do and do what we do as a team.
Ben Anderson, KSL Sports.
Did you notice anything differently about the ankle today? What's it like to get back out on it?
I mean, yeah, it's definitely sore, when you haven't played in 5 weeks, for sure. But, thankfully no pain, so that's the good part. But for me, it's just trying to stack these days on top of each other, because it's not like you just play once and then take 4 days off and then play again. These games are going to start coming quickly, so we got to be ready for that. The intensity is going to pick up. It's not going to be a practice. It's going to be, game 1 of the playoffs, so being ready for that. And I think that's really it for me, just understanding how I'm going to go out there, integrate myself back into the lineup, and just go out there and just try and do everything I can.
Dana Green, ABC4.
Donovan, kind of following up on Ryan's question, do you think the team made some progression without you and Mike, but if you were out a little bit longer? I mean, they went 10-6. That's pretty good against some good competition there. Do you think the team did progress without you out there?
Yeah, for sure. I think we saw things, on the positive side. I think we saw a lot of things that we're really good at, what we can really, how we can beat teams, how we can go out there and play the way we play. And then as far as things where we have weaknesses in, we saw that as well. And I think guys have worked their tails off to fix those weaknesses quickly, and you saw it throughout the process. We had 2 tough losses in Minnesota. Then we turned around and have a great game against it was a few weeks later, but Denver, was a huge win that stands out. Like for me, it's like, okay, we're correcting things on the fly. We're doing things because that's all the playoffs are going to be, is being able to make adjustments, good and bad, throughout the entire playoffs. I think every week everybody held it down, doing their jobs, and their levels rose tremendously. I think we found something in Trent Forrest that is huge as well, and I want to give him his props too. He just looks so composed and steady, throughout the entire time. And I think that's something that we've found, and just going to continue to go out there as a team and as a group to go out there and just try to adjust, because that's all that's going to happen for the next, hopefully 2 or 3 months, is just adjustments and going from there.
Andy Larson, Salt Lake Tribune.
Couple quick ones. Just for game 1, are you expecting to be at 100%? Again, barring any setbacks and playing your usual allotment of minutes.
Honestly, I haven't had that conversation as far as allotment of minutes. I would like to think so. I don't know. And either way, it's what's best interest, not just for the team, but for myself, because I don't want to go out there and, go out there full bore and then hurt it again. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it is the playoffs, and you got to go out there and you got to compete and got to be ready. And I think my teammates understand that. My coaches understand that. I understand that. But just going out there and just doing what I can. I think the biggest thing is trying to see how I respond after practice today, next practice, and then when you get to game 1, it's kind of go time. So I haven't had that conversation to give you, say, yeah, I'm ready to play 48. I mean, I feel like I'm ready to play 48, but at the end of the day, you got to be smart as well, because you can go out there and re-injure it as well. We saw that happen with a few guys can go out there and re-injure yourself, and you don't want that either, because then you're out for an extended period of time as well.
And then I wanted to ask kind of about the original incident that caused the ankle sprain. Was that something that how did you see that unfold? And was that something that you were frustrated by?
Man, to be honest, and I feel like a long time ago. I mean, the biggest thing for me, like, he came to me, and he expressed that he didn't feel that he didn't want to, he didn't mean to do that. As far as whether it's intentional, I can't speak on that. I'm not him. I don't know. I'm not frustrated on it. I think everything happens, in life for a reason. I'm one of those people. I think this allowed me to grow in certain instances, allowed me to learn, and allowed guys on our team to grow as well. If we want to be who we want to be, guys like Boyan stepped up, huge, come playoff time, he's going to be a guy we kind of keep riding the wave. And George has been huge. Like, guys' confidence levels rose, with my absence as well, which I think is huge. Like I said, so I think for me, it's just like, look, it happened. You can control what you can control. All I can control is how I get back in shape, and how I go out there and be the best player that I can be for my teammates, and go from there.
We have a question from Bowler.
Hey, thanks. Hey, Don, how are you?
Hey, Bowler.
Hey, buddy. I was just curious if you can for us reflect a bit from the days of OKC to the bubble to the plane trip to Memphis to your injury and a 52-win season. I guess while you were injured, you had time to kind of think about all those things that have made this team who they are.
Yeah. We've come a long way. I think, the thing that reminds me, thing that kind of hits home for me is the locker room after the loss of game 7, the bus, getting on the bus, and I told everybody, I said, remember this feeling, remember, everything, I remember how you feel. And then when you get tired, understand that we were tired in game 7, understand that if you're at 5 reps, we need 7. If you're at 7, we need 10, understanding that that's going to be the next level mentality. And we got to go out there and do it all over again for these playoffs, understanding that every little thing we do in the off season, is coming to fruition right now. I think that's something that we've all understood. We've come a long way as a group, and I'm really proud of how we've continued to compete. We've been through a bunch of different things, the playing being, one of the most recent ones. But we've been through a bunch of this group, and I think it's brought us closer together as a group. And you got to go out there and compete. Nothing's going to be given to us. At the end of the day, we have the X on our backs. Teams are going to come out hungry for us. No one really expects us to do much, and I think that kind of feeds our fire. And we just got to go out there and just go out and do what we do and try to become champions.